show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate. It's your biggest investment. We do it with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb, now here in Colorado, you've said before that real estate agents are licensed to fill out the forms the state gives them to complete the legal contracts for buyers and sellers. But what about new homes? How are these different from a sale of an existing home, for instance?
Well, a lot of people don't know that when they go buy a new home, 99.99% of the time, they are going to be filling out a form that was drafted by the builder to protect the builder, all in the builder's favor. It is not a state form to contract and buy and sell. And it has some protections in there for them, but not for the buyer. I've seen many, many transactions where the builders are like, hey, you know what? If you put down a deposit, we're not giving it back. I don't care what happens, if you don't buy. So it's very kind of nerve-wracking for the average, home buyer out there because they're under the gun. They have to be kind of all in with purchasing this new home when they do it. But buyers like new homes and buyers like the certainty of knowing that nobody else has lived in that home, that everything is going to be under warranty, that everything's going to be fresh and new, that they could potentially get lower interest rates because a lot of these builders are offering incentives like interest rate buy downs or closing costs discounts. Many times the buyers can pick their own location of where the home is, either if it's what they call a spec home, which is one that they've started that they like the lot, or they could pick the lot and build their house from the ground up. So all of those options the builder offers, and typically what they'll do is they know exactly how to attract the buyers with their beautiful models. So they'll set up a brand new model home. The colors are great. The improvements are spectacular. It's got all the nicest finishes. It's decorated perfectly, and you just want to move in and drop your stuff and go, ah, I live in an elegant home, right? That's the feeling they give you when you walk in their models. And typically they sit their sales staff right there in the garage of those models and they sell their homes through those model homes. So it's been going on for years and years. But the thing that's interesting to me right now is a lot of the builders are getting more and more market share than they ever have before. And I think part of it is that they've reduced their prices down to kind of compete with existing homes. And they've also offered some incentives where a home buyer can get a lower interest rate, which equals to a lower house payment. And at the end of the day, it's even though they might not be getting a pretty view lot that's got mature landscaping, they're going to have everything that's fresh and new. And when buyers fall in love, they'll sign an agreement. Sometimes they don't care what it says, and there aren't very many protections in there for a buyer. So if you do decide to go buy a new home, I've got some tips on what you need to do. First of all, you have every right to take that document and have it reviewed by an attorney because real estate agents are not attorneys. Isn't that true, Richard?
It is absolutely true. A world of difference. And it's like you said, people should remember in 1 month, you can get that degree. It doesn't teach you law, it doesn't teach you how to market or bargain or anything else.
Yeah. And so, but when they write these contracts, there's a lot of hidden surprise legalese in there that you need to be very careful to find out what's in the written word and make sure that you fully understand it. I do recommend taking an experienced agent with you when you buy new construction. I just sold a brand new home to a couple, and they bought and sold many homes in their lives. And when they bought this new home, it was during the summer, during hail season, and they had a problem with the house that they were selling that had to make a hail claim. And the problem is a lot of times these builders they'll almost discourage you from doing your own home inspection on the home. Now, I've said many times that in the state of Colorado, There is no license to be a home inspector. Most of them get an online certification, but there are some good ones out there that know what they're doing and know what to look out for. And if you don't want a home inspector, at the very least, check out the roof. Because guess what? Let's say the house is 90% done. The roof has been on for several months. And then we go through the summer, we get hit with a big monster hailstorm, and you have legacy hail damage, right? If you don't check it before closing, guess who's going to absorb the expense of that down the road? It's going to be the buyer that has to pay the deductible, and the buyer has to pay for the expense of repairing hail damage on a roof if it was legacy and you didn't know about it. So that's a critical thing that you should check. I have seen builders make mistakes like, not do the cuts for the structural support in the concrete. There's a variety of things that could come up. So you want to pay attention. I talked to one buyer that actually purchased a home out in South Carolina that had trouble with their sewer line, brand new home. So you definitely want to have the home looked at with an extra pair of eyes. Watch very carefully about the rules about your earnest deposit. Many of these builders is non-refundable. Also, many of even though the VA rules say that, hey, if you're going to use your VA loan to buy a home, if the house doesn't appraise, then you can't hold their earnest money back. But there's ways that these builders put stuff in their contract to get around that. So you have to be very, very careful. Don't sign until you get full clarity about what's going on. I've seen some crazy things happen in new construction home. I've had buyers walk away from new homes because the contractors are leaving sandwiches and food and drink and Coke cans in the framing, and then they drywall over it. I've seen stains on new carpet. I've seen them drywall over heat vents. I've seen them affix a rail that's supposed to hold you in case you're sliding down the stairs, to drywall and not to a stud. And so, you want to make sure that you have somebody take a look at that home besides the builder. The builders will always tell you, oh, don't worry, we're having regional building. Check us out every step of the way. And we have inspections on all these different phases. It's fully inspected by the county. It should be just fine. Well, the truth is they miss stuff too. So always get a second pair of eyes on new construction. So I always recommend getting an extra pair of eyes when you're buying new construction. Get an inspector, get a roofer, get out there and look at the roof, just in case, because you want all those things resolved before you actually close on the home. My name is Barb Schlinker. I am the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb has the buyer's team. I've been here in this market since the mid 90s. And I'm also the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about buying new construction homes and why they're selling more and more. When we come back, we're going to be discussing how you can protect yourself if you do decide to buy a new home.
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're making a move, buying or selling, just give Barb a call, 719-301-3900, or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Barb, what are some other issues that you see out there with new construction contracts that are in the process?
Well, number one, read the contracts. It's kind of funny when I meet with people and we go over agreements. Some people don't want me to go over it. I like to go over it. I want them to fully understand it. Even if it's something I'm not familiar with, I'm going to go ahead and read it for them so that they know what's in the fine print, because that's the stuff that could ruin your day if you decide to pull out of the contract. Find out if they take sale contingencies, if you have a house to sell. And what is the penalty if you don't sell your home? Will you lose your earnest deposit or not? That has to be ironclad, no mystery in writing. And then find out what happens to your deposit if you can't close. Or some of the things that I have seen in builder contracts before is, what if you don't close on time? Some of those guys will charge you like $250 a day if
Wow.
your lender is late. That money could stack up. Another thing you want to look at as well is how are you as the buyer protected against any liens that may come up as a result of building that house? Let me give you a story. I sold a home it was quite a few years ago, and I represented the buyer. I made sure the buyer was protected from any potential liens. It was a big, reputable in-town builder. And about 2 weeks after closing, the guy that put in the driveway and all the flat concrete on the property walked up, knocked on her door, and said, "Hey, lady, I didn't get paid for putting in my concrete, and I'm going to file a lien against your house." Wouldn't that be really upsetting, Richard?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, when you stand in the shoes of some of the people you're talking about, Barb, it is aggravating. And this is supposed to be one of the best processes of their life, whether they're buying or especially selling their home.
Yeah, well, it took me probably 30 minutes to get her calmed down and let her know, don't worry, I have you protected. There's ways through the title insurance is very inexpensive to protect buyers from that being a problem for them if the subs that put in different parts of the home did not get paid by the builder. It's been so bad that I've actually seen builders go bankrupt, sold a home for full price. They went bankrupt. They failed to pay their electricians. They failed to pay the guys that put ductwork in. And because those buyers did not use an experienced real estate agent that understands this when they bought the home, what happened was those contractors successfully got liens against the homeowners. So when they went on to sell that home years later, they had to pay those contractors again for the ductwork and the electrical. So you want to work with somebody that knows what they're doing, that protects your back, not the builder's back. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. We specialize in helping buyers and sellers handle one of their largest assets. And if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900. Part of what we do is we give you an in-home custom consultation on what to do, what not to do to get your house ready for sale. We'll go over all the closing costs, give you a really good idea what your home will sell for and how much you put in your pocket when it sells. And best of all, we'll be able to help you through the entire process.
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Thinking of making a move? Call Barb 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Now, this discussion dovetails in with the next topic. When we come back, we'll be talking about how to get multiple cash offers when you are selling your home. Stay tuned for that.